and welcome to a beautiful Saturday morning in Karlovy Vary. The station, I think, is a wonderful new design. Looks like a spaceship's landed on the hillside almost, but inside it's just about the right size to do what it needs to do, and there's such a light and airy feel that it certainly, for me, is quite a triumph of modern design. Today I'm going to be travelling on train 611, the Krušnohor, which runs from Heb to Praha. I'll be picking it up at Karlovy Vary, and the train will then track in a northeasterly direction up to Ústí nad Labem, and then from there it will pick up the main line down into Prague. Well, our train's just due in, so let's hop on board. Today we're going to be pulled by a Class 362 electric locomotive, which was built in 1990 by the Škoda works. As you can see, seats are laid out in a 2+1 configuration, and I initially booked myself into seat 61, but in fact I relocated to a forward-facing single seat for departure. One of the highlights of any trip in the Czech Republic is to get hold of some of the Kofola drink, which in my opinion is far nicer than any of the cola brands that we have in the UK. It's also got a pretty high caffeine content, so yeah, it certainly gets you started in the morning. Ostrov is our first stop this morning as we start to run along the river Ohře for a while. Now we're moving, let's have a look at this first class InterJet seat. Well, the legroom is excellent. If you've got very long legs, much longer than mine, you'll be just fine. Shorter legs, then we can easily flip down the footrest, and that's really comfortable indeed. There's a seat back pocket where I've popped the České dráhy magazine to stop it slopping around in the window where it's been hanging. Then above that, a very sturdy and large tray table. Excellent. I'm certainly a big fan of seats having really comfortable grab handles for people going past carrying cups of coffee and doing all their things. And the window service is completed with a blind, some coat hooks, and of course a reading light. Probably the weakest feature of the seat design is the power supply for the single seats. It does involve climbing on your hands and knees and trying to plug things in. The double seats have a much better feature where there's a little plinth set in between the two seats, providing a handy little coffee rest or indeed contactless charging. But here's the bad boy, and here's what really makes the difference. Massive lumbar support. This really is the most comfortable seat I've ever travelled in. Topping off the first class seat package, the seat comes with multi-position recline. I counted 4 or 5 different positions for the recline, so you can get it just as you like it. Soon we're treated to the first of what will be many lovely river views. Being a landlocked country, it's no surprise that the Czechs value very highly waterfront properties along rivers such as these. By now I was kicking back and really enjoying these lovely views. This really is a beautiful line, and although it's a bit slow, if you're in no hurry, and I certainly was not, this is a great way to travel. The first class cabin crew came along and made sure I had a coffee. Chomutov is now a city of about 45,000 inhabitants, and it's bordered by quite a large number of huge open cast brown coal mines, very much a feature of this area. We can see the Western Ore Mountains now in the distance, and we're finally picking up some speed. And we're now at Most, one of the largest conurbations between Karlovy Vary and Ústí. Most is the Czech word for bridge, and the city was named after a system of bridges that crossed the swamps in this area in the 10th century. At Most we pick up the river Bylina, which will now track all the way to Ústí. Sticking up in the distance is Bořeň hill. It's a phonolite hill, and it's the largest hill of its kind in Europe. Chotějovice is home of the Ledvice power plant. Certainly if you're going to dig out all that brown coal, you're going to want to burn it somewhere, and this I guess is where it happens. Teplice is home to a small independent rolling stock and locomotive repair company.
Dámy a pánové, vítáme vás v rychlíku číslo 611 Krušnohor ze stanice Cheb do stanice Praha Hlavní nádraží.
Well, it's time for a quick look at the interior of the rest of the train. Up front, of course, there's our locomotive, and let's walk back through the first class carriage. I like the way the 2+1 becomes 1+2 halfway down. There's 2 toilets either side of the vestibule, so let's pop in and have a look. Well, as you'd expect from such a new carriage, everything was in excellent order, and I do like this extra little handle there for people with more limited mobility. So yeah, a very neat little setup, and yeah, everything worked. Not really sure about the need for the information point. I've never really seen it ever used to any extent. As you'd expect, second class is 2+2. As you can see, the seats also have well-defined grab handles, which again I find very acceptable. Yes, 50 kilometers per hour. Needs to get a bit quicker, doesn't it? Nevertheless, once we get to the very rear of the train, there's plenty of bicycle storage space, and also, strangely, 2 policemen, who I didn't film. But while we're at the back, let's have a look at the best window in the train. As I was staring out of my left-hand window at the Palace Hotel, suddenly became aware of what was going past on the right-hand side of the train. Well, that's a surprise. I didn't expect to see a TGV today. We are treated to a view of the former world speed record holder SNCF TGV PSE 16, which reached 380 km per hour in 1981. The tour was organised by infrastructure manager Správa Železnic to highlight national plans for constructing high-speed lines across the Czech Republic. The train reverses at Ústí and we pick up the west bank of the Elbe. Let's just enjoy these wonderful river views as we head off towards Prague. And finally we leave the Elbe and join the Vltava for the final run into Prague. So as we're coming into Prague, let's look at the cost. Well, I paid 478 crowns or £16.50, which is €19.40 for this first class single from Karlovy Vary to Prague. I think that represents excellent value for money, specifically because you are sat in the nicest seat on any European train. And with one final crossing of the river Vltava, we're into Praha Hlavní Nádraží. And that's the end of our journey. So I do hope you've enjoyed travelling along with me today, and if you'd like to come on some more trips, then please just subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be putting some more Czech stories up soon, and from lots of other places. But for now, it's goodbye from Praha Hlavní Nádraží.